to a special Summerfest episode of
Brutal Battle.
To be specific, it's Maryland Summerfest, which is a festival we became aware of just this year in 2024 because good buddy Rich Smith tipped me off to it. He had heard about it from another friend. He was like, hey, have you heard about this? Do you want to go? And then they ended up not going. He and his wife. Did. Yeah, he and his wife ended up not going with us because they got too busy with other things. But yeah, we ended up going because we were like, yeah, it kind of looks like an interesting event. And it was. It was actually a very good event. I don't know how long they've been doing it.
I don't know either.
It really does seem like
at least 3 years.
Okay. Well, it seems like they've been doing it long enough to work out any of the issues because it was one of the best run events we've ever been to, hands down. And this took place in Westminster, Maryland. And the whole premise of it is it's like beer and wine plus a ton of food trucks plus two stages of live bands plus other random vendors.
Yeah, and there were distilleries there too.
Yes, distilleries as well. That's correct. So it was on the Farm Museum grounds, which they have a lot of land. So it was all outside. They had a lot of tents, a lot of places for people to sit. The porta potties were well away from everything else, which is wonderful. You seclude those porta potties because they can get stinky. And also, it's just nice to not have the lines for the bathroom be near everything else. But
yeah, and maybe it was just the time we went to the bathroom. There was no line when we went.
Yeah. Well, it was also kind of early because we had to drive a little bit to get there. So that was kind of that. But I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit more because we tried a bunch of beer while we were there because they did have tickets you could purchase that were like unlimited samples. But yeah, we'll talk about that more. But there was one brewery that we came away from it being our favorite of the day because they had really good beers, one beer in particular, which we'll talk about later. But we were able to get them to sell us a mixed 4-pack. Mixed as in just 2 different beers because they were selling just straight up 4-packs. And there were 2 beers we were interested in. And I was like, is it possible to mix it and do like half and half? And one of the owners was there working and he was just like, anything's possible. And he like just went through and figured it out and did it for us, which was awesome. So really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and start with the first beer from Pipe the Side Brewing out of Hampstead, Maryland. And we've had one beer by them before on the podcast, and I think we enjoyed it quite a bit.
I don't remember.
But anyway, this is a 16-ounce can for both these beers. This is their plastic-covered furniture. It's a cream ale, and it's 5% alcohol. Nice and low. Also, we love a cream ale. Love a cream ale. Hopefully, this is a cream ale we'll love. Because it's very hard to find cream ales. Oh, damn it. My pouring sucks. Oh, this beer is so clear. I love it.
This might be like one of the most clear beers I've seen in a long time.
For real. Well, it's not one of those hazy cream ales.
I mean, you can like count your fingers through it.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love clear beer. I think it looks gorgeous. This is the way beer should look.
It's yellow.
Yeah, yellow. It's a very slight orange tinge, but yeah, pretty yellow to it. This is very crisp. Little oranginess on the nose.
It smells creamy.
Yeah, it does smell nice and creamy. Yeah, it really does. But it's also like slightly biscuity.
Getting beer dripped on
me. Whoops. Sorry about
that.
In
my glass. I'm like, why is my arm wet?
Whoops. That was my fault.
It smells... I almost feel like it smells like a little vanilla-y. Also smells like cornflakes.
Yeah. I definitely see the cornflakes. I think I could see like slightly vanilla-y, I guess.
It's also hard because I smell our crock-pot meal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It just has a really nice like light maltiness to it. Like I said, it's a little bit biscuity on the nose, which I do like that. A little bit of honey, little honey. Very slight orange. Very, very slight tinge of oranginess on the nose. It smells very good. Oh, you get a lot of that like spent malt grain flavor on the finish, which is good.
And the corn flavor.
Yeah, it's very cornflakey, like you were saying. Like even more so, way more so in the flavor than in the nose. It is good.
It's like, for like a low ABV beer, it has a lot of flavor and
it really
a really good mouthfeel.
Yeah. It's like cornflakes with a decent amount of honey sprinkled on there and like a slight citrus tanginess.
Sure.
Just very, very slight sprinkled on top.
Yeah, I'll enjoy this one.
That's tasty. That's a good one. Okay, so I kind of already talked about a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, we talked a lot. I mean, we could talk about the breweries that were there if you want.
Yeah, we are going to talk about the beers, but first, do you want to talk about the food that we had?
Oh, yeah. There were almost too many food trucks.
I think they said it was like over 30 food trucks were supposed to be there.
There were a lot, and it was really hard to make a decision about what to eat, because I was like, I can't eat something from everywhere I wanted.
Right, yeah.
So we really had to limit it, and we started with poutine.
Which neither of us have had poutine before, and it's one of those things that has been on my to eat list before I die for a long time. So I saw there was this food truck and it said like authentic Montreal style poutine. And I was like, I feel like now's the time. Like, let's try some poutine.
Because it goes so good with beer.
And for people who, I mean, most people probably do, but for people who don't know what poutine is, it's literally French fries with cheese curd and gravy on it.
Like, who thought of that?
Yeah, I know. Canadians. It's a Canadian thing.
Very weird. And you could get it with meat on top.
Oh, yeah. There was a with brisket option, which we thought about doing, but then I was like, well, we don't really know if we're really going to like the poutine in the first place. So why don't we just try the straight up poutine itself?
Yeah, and I thought I was going to get a brisket sandwich from another food truck, too.
Right.
So I also didn't want to do that.
Yeah. But how was the poutine?
It was delicious.
Yeah, it was so good. It was piping hot.
It was really hot. It was really good. The gravy was really tasty.
Yeah, very savory.
Sometimes gravy is like
too salty.
Or it just doesn't have enough flavor.
Yeah, that's true.
Like sometimes it's just kind of like water broth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. It's either like too thin and not flavorful enough, or it's like too salty.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to screw up gravy, but yeah, their gravy was really good. The cheese curds were great. The fries were well made too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
I don't remember the name of that food truck.
I don't remember the name of either of the food trucks.
I mean, I can't imagine there's that many poutine food trucks in Maryland. Oh, you may hear a cat making noises in the background.
She literally will just go into the kitchen and just talk to herself for a while. She likes the sound of her own voice, so you might hear that on the recording.
And then I did not get the brisket sandwich because the poutine kind of filled us up. A
little bit. But then there was another truck there that I really wanted to try because I haven't had paella in a long time. And good paella can be amazing. And this was the case. So we found a paella food truck, and we had that. And how was that?
Delicious. So good.
Yeah, we did the pescatarian version, which is like a ton of vegetables plus shrimp. And the shrimp was like grilled nicely. It was so tasty. Tons of like very tasty vegetables. The rice was really good. A little bit al dente on the rice. So good. It was so good. I mean, I love the poutine, but if there's something I could have more of, it would have been the paella. So it was just like, it's so nice. But.
Yeah. So then after that, we were kind of full. Oh, we didn't get a cookie.
Yeah, it was, and that was okay. It was like had a ton of things in, like potato chips in there and like chocolate and some other things. And yeah, it was okay. It wasn't like great.
Yeah, it was a sugar cookie base.
Yeah.
I think if it was a different cookie base, it might have been better.
I agree. The sugar cookie base was kind of weird for it, but some other like odds and ends things. Their check-in was very well run. They had a lot of people staffing it, and they were moving the line. Like moving the line very well. So that's why I say
it was like a decent line when we walked up to it. Like, we walked up and I was like, ugh.
They also had a water station there, and it wasn't just water; it was sparkling water, a sparkling water station, and that was sponsored. It was like an actual company, but it was as much as you could have, which is a great idea for people who are going to be drinking there. You should have water available, and also just if you're going to have a bunch of food trucks. And then also the other thing, and this is something I think people don't really think about much when they go to events, their trash emptying system. Like, a lot of the times you'll go to these places and you see trash cans that are just overflowing. They had people going around on, like, little carts, checking the trash cans constantly.
Yeah.
And they were even switching them out sometimes when they weren't even fully full. So, like, when I say that this was very well run, it was very well run. Yeah.
And
we will be going back.
I mean, I'm not sure we drank our money's worth.
Yeah.
But it was $40 a person for, like, all you can drink.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we hit up every brewery we could find. There was... Guilford Hall was supposed to be there, and we saw them come in, but then they left.
Yeah, it looked like they were having problems with their kegs, because the way they had it set up, they had a bunch of kegs in, like, a moving truck, and then it had just, like, taps on the side, and they kept, like, it looked like they were having issues with it. So then they just left, which really sucked, because they were my most anticipated brewery there, because they do, like, all lagers.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to try them. We'll get to them at some point, I guess. So that was a letdown. But there were a lot of good breweries there.
Yeah, we had a lot of good beer.
And one thing I do need to point out before we talk about those breweries is that the sample pours differed greatly. Like, some people would give you just, like, a spritz of the beer.
Like, I was like, that's it?
And then other people were like, a whole half pour, basically.
I was like, I hope I like this.
Yeah. It's like, wow. So, well, we did dump some. There was some we dumped, because there were some breweries that were not so great. But
we didn't dump much.
Yeah, not much, but a little bit. Like, I'll just say it because it wasn't on my Untapped that I'm going to read from. Monocacy and Brewer's Alley. Yeah. We tried them at the end, like one beer from each, and we dumped those because they were not very good. So, yeah.
And there was a meadery. So I got the mead. I forget what kind it was.
It was like blackberry. Yeah, it was blackberry. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it tasted very beer-like. Mm-hmm. It was,
But it was like 13%.
No,
like,
I got there were 2 that were like 13% and then 2 that were like 7%. I got the one that was 7%.
Okay, yeah. But I do know that there were ones that were like 13. But yeah, it did taste
That was a
good.
hefty pour.
Yeah, that was a hefty pour.
I was like, okay.
It was very tasty, though.
But,
Actually, before we talk about the beers, let's do the last beer here. Because, we have 2.
But yeah, like Carlin said, like, there were some breweries, like, I almost was like, can I have a little more?
Yeah. And then there are other ones where you're like, oh my.
Like, I was like, I feel like I can't even, like, evaluate this beer because it's like half a sip.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And then I did switch and want wine. So I found, like, this wine place. I don't even know their name.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. I just wanted to try their dry rosé, and he like waited until there were like multiple people there, and then wanted to taste through the whole lineup. And thankfully, the rosé was the third one we tasted, and I was like, these wines suck.
And then she just bailed. I was not there for that. I walked away. I was like, I'm going to do something else. Do you want to introduce the second beer?
Sure. It is called Little Acorns. It's a dark mild, and on the front is a squirrel pushing a shopping cart with acorns.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It's really cute.
It's very cute.
And it says the artwork is created by Mariah Taylor. This is also from Pipe the Side.
Well, obviously. Yeah, we just did 2 Pipe the Sides.
Just to be clear on that. And it is only 3.8%.
I know, right? That's phenomenal. I can't tell you the last time I had a beer this low. So, yeah. Plus, I love a dark mild. Love a dark mild. And that's another type of beer that's kind of hard to come by, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I did not get beer on the outside of this glass for you, okay?
Barely made that one.
Okay. I'm refining my pouring this episode.
And the music was decent.
Yeah,
like what we heard of.
Solid.
Like, we didn't get like too close because I don't know. I'm old.
Gets very
it's loud.
Yeah, blow your eardrums out.
And people brought their own like pop-up tents, but they could only be put up in certain areas.
Which
and
is
then
smart.
You could bring chairs to sit in, but those also could only be set up in certain areas.
But there were a lot of people there, but with how much space and how, like, well spaced out all the vendors were, it didn't feel like there was a lot of people there.
No.
So,
and, like, I don't
great.
think... We didn't really wait all that long to, like...
For anything.
For a beer.
No, we didn't. Okay,
Anyway.
so this looks like... I mean...
It's like...
You'd say it looks like a brown ale,
Yeah.
basically. It's just like brown. You can't see through it. There is a little head on top. It's all large bubbles. Ooh.
It's like so roasty and malty, and there's a little toffee.
It's a little smoky. There's like a slight smokiness on there. I like that. Like there's just like a slight salinity to it.
There's a little chocolate.
Yeah. Dare I say it smells like there could be acorns in it?
There's no acorns in
No.
it.
It does smell a little nutty, though.
That's a toffee. Like,
Yeah,
nutty,
exactly.
Yeah.
A little bit of bitterness on the nose.
Smells like it's going to be...
It smells good.
It smells like it's going to, like, a dark mild, like, have all those dark flavors, but still be light and refreshing.
Ooh. It's pretty thin on the mouthfeel, but...
That flavor is good.
Yeah, that's very flavorful. Especially 3.8% with a pretty thin mouthfeel. It's very flavorful. It's giving me a decent amount of, like, a coffee finish, which is really nice. Coffee, roasty, slight smokiness on the finish.
Yeah. I mean, it tastes exactly how it smells.
Yeah.
Only, like, more roasty.
Yeah, this is good. It's kind of like a lighter version of a porter.
Sure.
Yeah, it's nice. And at 3.8%, man.
Can't beat that.
Take it. So both of these really good. I'm a fan. Okay, so I can bring up my Untapped and I can go over what we did try and our feelings on those things. We tried a bunch. Okay, so the first one we hit up was Pub Dog. And we didn't really care that much for either of their beers. We tried their Maryland Lager, which is just a Vienna-style lager, and their Blonde Dog, which was a blonde ale. They weren't bad, but they were okay. Then we tried Cushwa Brewing, and we had their Fog at Daybreak, which was a pale ale, a hazy pale, which was pretty good, and their Rad Beer, which was a light lager that was pretty good as well.
I really like that pale ale.
Yeah, you were a big fan.
I thought that was so good.
Yeah. And
I did want to say that some breweries had, like, only 2 offerings, and some had, like,
a lot.
4.
Yeah. That's true. Then we had Stone Silo Brewery, their Nehemiah Nectar, which was an IPA. It was not that great. Like, it was okay-ish.
Was it IPA with nectarines? Or IPA with something? Peach?
Well, let me look.
Orange?
Oh, tangerine puree.
Okay,
Yeah,
it was
tangerine
with
puree.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was solid.
And then we did have their Peach Goza,
which was really good.
We did like that. That was pretty
and they
good.
had other we were just kind of getting beered out, but I did want to go back and try their other offerings because they had 2 other offerings.
Yeah, they seem like a place we should probably hit up at some point. Then we tried some Evolution Brewing beers. We had the Lot Number 3 IPA, which is one they've been doing for a long time. It was good. It was good. Took me back to, like, the old days of East Coast style IPAs, the way they normally were done. That was tasty. We liked that. Then their American Light Lager, which was a little bit underwhelming. Should have just gotten their white, the Evolution white, because that's really good.
And then I did want to say some of the breweries were pulling from drafts and some were can pours.
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a mix there. So then we had beers from M8 Beer, and both of their beers we had were quite good. They had Slim Dusty Hazy IPA, and that was a really nice hazy IPA, and they're Down Under 395, which was a dark lager that was really tasty. Yeah, they had 2 really nice beers. Then we hit up 1623 Brewing, and they're one of the ones that had a lot of beers.
Yeah.
We had their Märzen, which was really good, and we had their Worth the Wait, which was a Kolsch that was tasty. And then we also hit up Big Truck Farm Brewery, who we've had beers on the podcast from, and we had their Motor Oil, which was really good.
Yeah.
That was a, Cascadian Dark Ale or Black IPA. Really good.
I mean, we'll talk about our favorite beer, but I think that one was my second favorite beer.
Yeah, Motor Oil was my second favorite beer, hands down. It really tasted less like a black IPA and more like some of those old school, like really good super hoppy stouts, because it had a real serious body to it. Really good beer. Really like that. And then we also tried their Sunset Cruise, which was a sour beer with orange, mango, pineapple, and coconut, and we really liked that as well. Too. Big Truck's doing some really good stuff. Yeah. Then we had Pipe the Side, and we had their Call Me Star, which was a quite nicely done hazy IPA, and our favorite...
There was something in there, though, I thought.
Call Me Star? Let me look.
Yeah.
Let me look a little further into it. Grapefruit.
Yeah.
They called it a grapefruit session hazy.
Yeah.
It was quite good. And then we had our favorite beer of the day, Can't Hear You Peach. It was a American wheat ale conditioned on white peach puree and jalapenos. The way the peach and the jalapeno went together was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really tasty.
It didn't really have heat to it. It was just like that, like earthy flesh flavor of the jalapeno, and the way it just married up with that peach.
And we did go back
good.
We went back for seconds.
We did, because it was that good. It was so good. Then after that, we had Liquidity Ale Works. We did not like either of their beers.
Well, and that was one of the ones that gave us like...
A lot.
No, they gave us like...
Oh, just a little bit?
Yeah, right. They're the ones that gave us... So I was like, I feel like I can't even evaluate the beer because I barely can smell it. I barely can taste it.
It wasn't very good,
But then I remember thinking, well, I didn't really like what I got that much, so I guess it was a good thing.
Yeah, we had their Further In Cold IPA and their Hometown Series The Mount Dark Lager. Both of them not great. And that was it. Other than the other two that we talked about that we didn't like either. So, a lot more good than bad.
Oh, yeah.
Of what we had, which is great. That's always what you want. And, yeah, Pipe the Side, favorite, followed by Big Truck, actually.
Yeah.
And then 1623, I think, after that. So, yeah, it was a great time. It was awesome. I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about it. I think we kind of exhausted it all. Did I say they had other vendors there, too? Just, like, selling other things, which I picked up some freeze-dried candy because that's like, fun.
Some very, like, a wide range of vendors. Like, there was someone doing henna. Mm-hmm. There was someone was selling spices. We got some spices.
Yeah, spice rubs for chicken.
And other things. There was the freeze-dried candy. Mm-hmm. There were other, like, trinkets. There was someone selling perfume.
Jewelry. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. So, yeah.
And I thought it was nice because, like, everything was kind of, like, mixed together. Like, it wasn't just, for better or for worse, it wasn't just, like, beer in one area and vendors in another area. Like, everything was kind of, like, you walked around and you could see, like, everything.
Yeah. Which, is good to get people to look at everything instead of, like, some people just going and secluding themselves in one place or another. Yeah. But, yeah, it was great. That's all I have to say about it. It was awesome, and we're going to look forward to going there in 2025 because it was so well done.
Yeah.
And hopefully going to try some other great beers there. But what would you say is your favorite between the plastic-covered furniture and the Little Acorns?
Oh, Little Acorns.
Yeah, I got to go to Little Acorns because as good as that cream ale is, that dark mild is impressive, especially at 3.8% with the flavor there. We need to go to Pipe the Side.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make that a priority soon. So awesome. Yeah, thank you everyone for checking this out. Really appreciate it. Until next time.
Keep it brutal.